Hi everyone, Brittany here from the Newnan Carnegie Library. I'm back in my front yard today to show you how to do a easy family-friendly activity of shelter building. Shelter building is great because it's super adaptable. You can use it no matter how old your kids are. I'd say from 3 to teenager. It just depends on how difficult you want to make it. We're going to make a pretty basic shelter here today. We're not getting super deep diving into survival skills, but they will keep some things dry, or you can make it a little bit more fun, especially if you have littles, and just call it a fairy house. We'll get into the details a little bit later, but this is a great activity to tie into your read alouds. I would suggest Hatchet by Gary Paulson. There's a few books in that series and they're really fun adventure books, and he actually has to build a shelter in that series. So that's a great way to bring that story to life for your kids. So first thing, let's see what we need. So for this activity, all you'll need is sticks and some trees in your yard. And what I suggest to help your kids gather sticks, because if you tell kids to just go get some sticks, they tend to just bring like 3 or 4 back, unless you have that super overachiever kid and then they bring in a whole pile and you're like, where did you find all those? So what I suggest is giving them numbers. And obviously you'll need to adjust the sizes I'm about to tell you based on how big your kiddos are. But I usually say, bring me 10 sticks the size of your pointer finger. Bring me 5 sticks the size of your pinky. Bring me 10 sticks the size of your wrist. And then send them off. And depending on how many kids you have, and get in there too, gather the sticks, then that'll depend on how many you need. And then you can always send them back out depending on what you need. So I'm gonna go gather some sticks. I'll see you in a minute. Sorry for the shadow, but I finished gathering my sticks for now. I may have to get some more later. But I've got some nice thick branches for my base of my shelter. Again, I'm just making a small shelter, so I don't need huge ones. Then I've got some thicker ones over here, about the size of my pointer finger. I've got some nice thin ones about the size of my pinky, a little bit thinner. And then I went ahead and got some material to insulate. So I've got some pine straw here. You could also use dried leaves. If you really want to get messy and extra fun, you can use mud. Really great time to talk to your kids about the leave no trace principles. Really what that means is we aren't going to go and grab any of the really pretty branches up there, even if they're the exact size we need. We're gonna find the branches on the ground. So I've got some more over here, maybe not quite as big, but maybe I'll find some more over there or over there. Lots of places to look and keep hunting. Even for my ground cover, or when it gets to the decor phase, if you go that part, especially if you go the fairy house route, there's some really pretty flowers on the bushes. You want to leave those there and wait till they fall off to use them. To start, you're going to take your largest stick and lean it up against a tree. That's why we're not making a traditional lean-to. Most lean-tos, you would balance the stick between the 2 trees. But I only have 1 tree right here, so that's why we're going to make kind of our TP style. So we're going to decide about how big we want it, how tall we want it to be, and then place it right there. The skeleton of our shelter. Keep in mind that we're going to need to decide where an entrance will be, so we don't want to completely close this, but we want to get some really big sturdy branches to add support before we start adding in all our smaller sticks and twigs. So now I have my foundation, my base. Now if you wanted to get fancy, you could tie the tops of those up with some string, but we're not going to do that. And now I'm going to take some slightly smaller twigs and sticks and start to lay them kind of across against my base. So I've gotten a lot of my, I would say if you're making this with kids, wrist size sticks laying vertically. And now I've kind of started to weave in my thinner sticks. So I'm kind of just putting them in horizontally where I can. And I still got some big holes here, so I may go try to find some thicker sticks. But I'm just going to try to fill in these holes and add some extra layer of support through here. And I think I'm going to add a few more before I start insulating. But if you're looking for more opportunities to weave education into this activity, it's a great idea to talk about different animals that have to build shelters, like beavers, what do they use, and geography. So what we have in Georgia may look a little different than people who live in a desert area or by the beach or different parts of the USA. What would we do if we had snow? How would maybe the shelter look different? And really have them evaluate it. Look at the outside. Are there a lot of sticks falling through? Is it making sure we're maintaining a door? It's okay if there's too entrances. You can decide if you want to close it up and make more of a cave style. Most lean-tos, there's entrances both ways, but is that going to matter? How cold is it going to get at night? Are we mostly just trying to prevent rainfall? Things of that nature. You get to me, you can keep going with this as long as your kids are interested. You can keep weaving twigs until there's smaller holes, or if your kids' interest starts getting a little bit less, they can go ahead and start on to the next step. So now what I'm going to do, I've gathered quite a few pine needles over here. I'm just going to start laying those over my holes to add insulation and tucking them in just like that, and I'll do that all around here. And then when you have little holes like right here, you can add some dry leaves. Everyone, so here's my finished shelter. No major gaping holes, nice and insulated with pine straw and some leaves I have. And we'll see how it stands up. I already have a resident. Spider-Man has joined us. I made him a little bed. You just put 2 sticks on either side, stuff it with leaves for extra padding, and then put pine straw on top. That's how you make a comfy bed if you are out in the wilderness. Your kids can add extra decorations, fallen flowers, leaves, a little pine cone, and have a handy little way. Alright everyone, I hope you enjoyed this shelter building tutorial. There really are so many ways to adapt this, no matter your kids' ages or their interests. Like I said earlier, you can make fairy houses and really focus on the decor rather than the structural integrity. You can, if you have a couple kids, you can put them in teams or challenge them against each other and see whose structure will last the longest. Keep them up for a few days. Build it before some heavy weather to see how long they last. You can challenge them to make one to hold their favorite figurine or action figure, or challenge them to make one they can fit in. I've made these where I was able to sit in them and they've lasted for months. So it really is so adaptable, and they can be as easy or as intricate as you want to make them be, and can really open up a whole wealth of educational opportunities for your kiddo. So I hope you give it a try, and thanks for watching.